Dr. Mark Searle, University Provost, will present our second honorary degree.
Our second honorary degree recipient is widely known as one of the more respected influencers in the effort to expand educational opportunity in the United States. Please direct your attention to this short presentation about Wendy Kopp.
It began as a thesis at Princeton University in 1989. 27 years later, it has expanded across the United States and impacted nearly 7 million students. Wendy Kopp was a 22-year-old graduating senior, convinced she could marshal the energy of her generation to improve educational equity against the headwinds of poverty, racism, and other deeply rooted injustices. Her idea was Teach for America, recruit promising college graduates to commit 2 years to teach in high-need schools, who would then go on to become lifelong leaders in the effort to expand educational opportunity. It was truly innovative. 500 corps members signed up in Teach for America's first year. Now the organization includes 50,000 corps members and alumni working to ensure more children are able to fulfill their potential, no matter their zip code, race, or income level. In 2007, Wendy Kopp led the development of Teach for All, which supports social entrepreneurs around the world who were determined to adapt this approach in their own countries. Now, in its 8th year, the Teach for All network is comprised of partner organizations in more than 40 countries around the world. She's written 2 books of her experiences and has been recognized with a multitude of awards throughout her career. A mother of 4 children herself, Wendy Kopp continues to pursue the vision in her senior thesis, that one day all children all over the world will have access to excellent education.
I would like to ask Wendy Kopp, the 2016 recipient of the honorary degree, to come forward. Dr. Mary Kerner, Dean of the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, will perform the rite of investiture. Mary? President Crow, Arizona State University is honored to confer upon Wendy Kopp the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa in recognition of her achievements as a leader in education, especially in providing quality education to students from underserved communities and in providing opportunity to talented adults who want to make a difference.
So Wendy, we began as a teacher's college, we remain a teacher's college, we'll forever be a teacher's college no matter where the future takes us. You have been an inspiration to us through your innovations, your wisdom, your help to this institution, helping us to think about how to produce new teachers, helping us to think about how to become more innovative. And so it's really with great honor that I say, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Arizona Board of Regents, on the recommendation of the faculty of Arizona State University, I hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and admit you to all of its rights, honors, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations. And now Wendy, we don't very often have a commencement speaker. We do today. Wendy Kopp, a recent graduate of Arizona State University.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to be here with you tonight. To President Crow, the Arizona Board of Regents, distinguished faculty and staff, thank you for inviting me to share in this time of joy and celebration. To the families trying valiantly to spot your own dear graduate among this sea of caps and gowns, I can only imagine how proud you must feel. As a mother of 4 kids, I know how fast it must feel that your little ones have grown up. Congratulations on raising these remarkable young people with whom you have blessed this troubled world. We thank you. And to you, Arizona State University's graduating class of 2016. I will admit that you are an intimidating audience. Your generation is smart, savvy, discerning, amazingly connected, and I know from spending time with those 4 kids I just mentioned that the lure of your devices is an often triumphant competitor at moments when I attempt to dispense heartfelt advice. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity to be with you tonight for a few reasons. First, because of your achievements and your potential. You have worked so hard to get to this moment. I want to especially acknowledge the 3,000 plus of you who are the first in your families to earn a college degree, for whom the challenges were likely even more significant. To all of you in the class of 2016, congratulations on what you have accomplished to get to this day. And your accomplishments are just beginning. You have grown up in difficult times, through the deep recession that hit this state full force, hurling hardworking people out of work, through setbacks and struggles for civil rights and justice for all, through a brutish and unappetizing political climate that too often sows contempt between neighbors, colleagues, and classmates. But soon, you will be in charge. And this institution, which you so wisely chose as your partner on your journey into the future, has prepared you well for that responsibility. I don't have to tell any of you that Arizona State is a special place. Under President Crow's leadership, you have enjoyed the richness of mind, spirit, and community that comes from a steadfast commitment to inclusion and diversity. Our entire nation would do well to embrace Arizona State's core value, a place measured not by whom it excludes, but by whom it includes and how they succeed. You are all unique, and you are all Sun Devils, learning together as teammates here at Arizona State University. And together you are living proof that inclusion and success go hand in hand. I also had to be with you tonight because this institution is a dear friend of Teach for America. I'm particularly grateful to Dean Kerner and Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, which has invested so much in the development of our teachers and educational leaders here in Phoenix. And I'm thrilled that graduates from the Arizona State community make up one of the largest groups of Teach for America teachers in classrooms today, soon to include 40 of you who are starting on that journey now. I was so inspired yesterday to meet Natalie Navarrete, one of those 40 who was inspired to join the Corps because of the impact of her 5th grade Teach for America teacher here in Phoenix. Thank you, all of you, for your commitment to helping all kids fulfill their potential. Right now, around the world, hundreds of millions of children are going to fall short of their potential because of the circumstances of their birth. From the very beginning, these children face obstacle after obstacle: poverty, malnutrition, discrimination based on race or class or gender or religion or indigenous or citizenship status, schools without the capacity to provide them with the support and education they need to thrive, and more. Today, I travel the world helping to build Teach for All, which supports independent, locally led organizations in 40 countries and counting, including this one, that are galvanizing the rising generation of leaders in their countries to help their nation's children fulfill their true potential. I first set out in this work here in the United States when I was in a seat like yours, about to embark on the effort to create the National Teacher Corps that I had proposed in my undergraduate senior thesis. I believed that our nation's greatest injustices were the near insurmountable barriers that kept millions of children from exercising their talents and achieving the quality of life they deserved. I believed that there were many, many graduates and recent graduates who would jump at the chance to work with families and communities to provide children access to the opportunities they deserved. And I believed that once our Corps members met their students, they would fall in love with them, and at the same time would become outraged at the injustices they faced. And that because of that powerful mix of love and outrage, our Corps members and alumni would find themselves committed to the long fight for a better future for their students and in turn for all of us. Committed, like Reginald Boulding, an alum of Arizona State and of Teach for America, who ran for state legislature to represent the kids in his district who had to walk to school on the road because they didn't have sidewalks. Committed, like Chad Geston, another Arizona State and Teach for America alum who is the Phoenix Union High School District's new superintendent and is leading innovations that are promising to unleash the potential of thousands of high school students in communities of color. Committed, like Claudio Coria, Arizona State and Teach for America alum and the principal of Alhambra High, where he's created a culture of such high standards that he's asking the state to allow his students to be assessed using the ACT college entrance exam. Committed, like Carly Smith, Arizona State alum and Teach for America Corps member, who is challenging her fourth graders to read novels that reveal the perils of intolerance and prejudice because she believes that you're never too young to understand that all people, even those who may seem different, are deserving of dignity and love. I feel so privileged to work alongside so many people like these, and also deeply grateful to have found my way to this work at such a young age. That is because one of the many things I've learned along the way is that making progress towards a world in which all children have the opportunity to fulfill their potential is a long game. Even with 1,000 Reginalds, 1,000 Chads, 1,000 Claudios, 1,000,000 Carlys, sweeping sustainable change will take a lifetime. When I started Teach for America, I didn't realize this. 27 years later, I do, and I'm still trying to untangle all the reasons why the clock keeps time in decades instead of months and years. I've found that the truest answer lies beyond better policies or more money or newer technology, beyond training more and better teachers, beyond textbooks and testing. In fact, it is where you come in. Here is how. 10 years ago, an inspiring Indian woman about my age who had developed after-school programs for children living in the slums of Mumbai became enamored with the idea of a Teach for America, Teach for India. She asked if I would come to talk with her about my experience in the US. I assumed that India would be so different and really wasn't sure that what I'd seen and learned here would be relevant, but I went. When I arrived, the classrooms in the first school I visited were filled with children living in deep poverty. The school principal made a point to explain that there was only so much she could do with her students given where they were coming from. What she said really struck me because it was so similar to the explanations I had heard so many times before about why we shouldn't expect more from so many of the children in my own country. In a meeting with the Teach for Pakistan staff on one of my visits there, I asked them to help me understand the unique challenges that were holding Pakistani children back compared to those in other countries. One of the staff members who had been engaged in our global network quickly assured me that there was nothing very different from what I had seen elsewhere. I found this implausible and pressed for more. The team obliged, offering up that students in the communities where they teach go to school for just 2 hours a day, and that a quarter of the teachers are absent on any given day. But they told me that even with these challenges, the biggest obstacle was the same as I had seen elsewhere. So many people just didn't believe that children born into poorer families were capable of meeting high expectations, were capable of excellence. From Thailand to Peru to here in the US, I've seen how biased mindsets about children in the communities where we work are at the heart of what is holding us back. These biases so often cut along the lines we draw to categorize and divide person from person, child from child. The problem isn't with educators or any one group of people. It's that these beliefs that all of our children are not fully and beautifully and equally human are pervasive, even when they go unspoken. This is perhaps the biggest reason the pursuit towards equal opportunity is such a long game in this country of ours and all over the world. Well-meaning people, not just the loud minority who wear their prejudices proudly, set their expectations of others according to categories we create, what they look like, where their families are from, how much money they have, what religion they practice. We do it without even realizing it. We do it all the time because it helps our brains to make a messy world seem a little easier to figure out. And then those with power, acting according to their own biases, whether unconscious or with intent to oppress, create systems for education or criminal justice or immigration or political enfranchisement that perpetuate these biases and reinforce injustice. We learn these biases from a comment by a grown-up, a show on television, a story in a newspaper or a history book. We are taught, without noticing, to take shortcuts to figure people out, to put them in their neat categories that are ultimately constructed, artificial, in some cases born from the darker sides of our history or our nation's character. After visiting so many other countries, I fear that those darker corners mean that we have an even longer game to play here in the United States. Throughout our history, under the laws of our land, vast groups of people have been considered to be inferior, less than human, not to be fully valued. Perhaps this is why our nation's story continues to be such a struggle on the part of so many people for inclusion, dignity, opportunity, human rights. We see this struggle in the unequal educational opportunities that we continue to provide children along lines of race and economic background. We see this struggle when people of color die day after day at the hands of those entrusted with protecting them. We see this struggle when states around this country, including this one, devise ways to keep working class communities from exercising their right to vote. We see this struggle when hardworking young people who have grown up in this country are made to live in fear in the shadows or in fear that their families will be torn apart. These injustices are all the result of people being unable to do what Carly Smith is teaching her fourth graders to do, to recognize our shared humanity, to overcome automatic assumptions that place false limitations on people who are different from us. Here is where you come in and what I'm asking each of us to commit to tonight. We know, science has shown, that actively acknowledging that other individuals are on our team wipes out our unconscious biases. We have to learn to unlearn our biases by reminding ourselves we are all on the same team. We are all on the same team. With your whole lives in front of you, I challenge you to do something that is nearly impossible but completely game-changing. To make an effort, day in and day out, to acknowledge that every single person you come across is first and foremost your teammate on this earth. We are all unique. We possess different amounts of power and privilege, but we are all teammates. If we see each other as teammates before we see any other characteristic, we will help empower those around us with high expectations instead of leaning into unconscious biases of what they can achieve. If we see each other as teammates, we will work in solidarity to address the injustices that are institutionalized throughout our society. If we see each other as teammates, we will reach the day when all children can fulfill their potential regardless of the circumstances of their birth. This future is possible, and today I'm asking you, no matter what you choose to do with your lives, to contribute to making it a reality by reminding yourselves every day, in your work, in your communities, with every person you meet, before anything else, we are all on the same team. Class of 2016, congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy Kopp.